the days of myths and gods, when these tales were thought to be much more than mere story, when the Greeks were the rulers of the world, there lived a girl named Arachne. She was a maiden who became famous throughout Greece, though she was neither well born nor beautiful and came from an old Greek city. Arachne lived in an obscure little village, and her father was a humble dryer fool. In this, he was very skillful, producing many varied shades, while above all, he was famous for the clear, bring scarlet, which is made from shellfish, and which was the most glorious of all the colors used in ancient Greece. Even more skillful than her father was Arachne. Arachne was small and pale from overwork. Her eyes were light, and her hair was a dusty brown. Yet, she was quick and graceful, and her fingers roughened, as they went so fast that it was hard to follow their flickering movements. Arachne's products were known all over Greece, and no one had ever seen the like of them before. Arachne was said to be known throughout all the lands for her great skill of weaving, compared to no mortal, surpassing all. Even the wood nymphs would come out of their shadowy hiding to see her create her masterpieces as she sat at the loom and threw the shuttle from hand to hand between the hanging threads.
Surely Athene must have taught her.
Who else could know the secret of such a marvelous skill?
When she heard the murmur, she would stop her work and turn around indignantly to say,
With my 10 fingers, I gained this skill and by hard practice from early morning till night. I never had time to stand looking as you people do another maiden work. Nor if I had, would I give Athene credit because the girl was more skillful than I. As for Athene's weaving, how could there be finer cloth or more beautiful embroidery than mine? If Athene herself were come down and compete with me, should do better than I.
One day, when Arachne turned around with such words, an old woman, bent and very poor, who stood leaning in a staff and peering at Arachne amid the crowd of onlookers.
Reckless girl!
How dare you claim to be equal to the immortal gods themselves? I am an old woman and have seen much. Take my advice and ask pardon of Athene for your word. Rest content with your frame of being the best spinner and weaver that mortal eyes have ever beheld.
Stupid old woman! Who gave you right to speak in this way to me? It is easy to see that you were never good for anything in your day or would not come here in poverty and rags to gaze at my skill. If Athene resents my words, let her answer them herself. I have challenged her to a contest, but of course, she would not come. It is easy for the gods to avoid matching their skill with that man.
At these words, the old woman threw down her staff and stood erect. The wondering onlookers were terribly afraid as they realized that they stood in the presence of Athene. Arachne herself flushed red for a moment, for she had never really believed that the goddess would hear her. Without a word, both began to thread the long woolen strands that hung from the rollers and between which the shuttle moves back and forth. Arachne never thought of giving credit for her success to her father's skill dyeing, though in actual truth the colors were as remarkable as the cloth itself. The excited crowd in the doorway began to see that the skill of both in truth was very nearly equal. The goddess ended a little before Arachne and stood back from her marvelous work to see what the maiden was doing. As Arachne stole glances from time to time at Athene and saw the goddess working swiftly, calmly, and a little faster than herself, she became angry instead of frightened, and an evil thought came into her head. When Athene saw the work of Arachne, she did not wait while the cloth was judged, but she stepped forward and tore Arachne's work across. Arachne stood there a moment, struggling with anger, fear, and pride.
I will not live under this insult.
She cried, and seizing a rope, and she made a noose and have hanged herself. The goddess touched the rope and touched the maiden.
Live on a spine, both of you and your descendants. When men look at you, they remember that it's not wise to strive with Athene.
At that, the body of Arachne shriveled up, and she became the shape of what we call now a spider.
How